This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Friday, the 25th of February in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The Ministry of Education has launched a campaign across the country to find those students who have not been attending classes for a prolonged period and try to get them back into the classroom. The campaign, which is titled Operation Recovery, is targeting all education districts to locate primary school students who have been continuously absent from school since the reopening of school late last year, as well as those students who did not show up for the National Grade 6 Assessment mock examinations. More than 1,000 students did not show up for the examinations.
We were here since 7, going literally house to house for the addresses that we have for children who did not turn up for the grade 6 exam. All across Guyana today, officers, community activists, teachers are helping us to find all the children who did not turn up for the grade 6 mock exams. Now, two things are happening. In searching for the grade 6 children, we're seeing other children who did not go to school. We just don't have them on a list, or who are not going to school and who are accessing no education because they have little access to online services.
The move by the Ministry of Education will see education officers from the Central Ministry and within the educational districts, along with regional officials and community activists, fanning out into communities to locate the students. The exercise aims to ascertain the location of the students and the reasons behind their absenteeism, so that determination can be made about how the ministry can assist the students with returning to school. Education Minister Priya Manik-Chan.
We are certain in Guyana that we do not have to be a statistic. We could take measures to mitigate against that kind of those harsh consequences. One of the things we're doing is we are insisting that no child at the common entrance NGSA level will drop out of school. And so that's why we're engaged in this activity. And as soon as we start back school, which we expect to do shortly, fully start back school, not on rotation, then we're going to do this for every other grade. Right now, we can't mark children as absent in other grades because they're rotating. So there's at no point we could say you're absent. Plus, persons have the ability to stay home.
Schools in Guyana were closed to face-to-face learning for almost 2 years. Most schools have been fully reopened to face-to-face learning, with many students attending classes on a rotational basis in some cases. The Ministry of Education has warned that any individual or organization that promotes the closure of schools or discourages parents from sending their children to school is doing harm to Guyana's children and the country as a whole. It is encouraging all stakeholders to be responsible during this time.
We're asking all of Guyana, parents, teachers, churches, mandirs, mosques, NGOs, CDCs, everybody to get on board with us. There is no way we could change the lives of these children except we get them an education. And we are very sure in the Ministry of Education that this is something that we can do. We can get these children back into schools. And once we do, we are going to devise different things and different strategies and different ways of plugging the learning loss gap. We have already consolidated the curriculum. We are sure that there are many different things we can do, and we have plans in place. And so we're asking parents to send your children to school. We're asking community members and everybody else to make sure, as far as we can, we get every child back into the classroom. We will not stop until we are sure that that goal is realized.
The Education Ministry has noted that it remains committed to keeping school doors open. The ministry is of the view that urgent, practical and sustained measures such as teaching and learning from a consolidated curriculum, the provision of textbooks, retraining of teachers and Operation Recovery will mitigate against the predicted loss to children in the country. More news coming up in just a moment.
How fast is fiber? Think fast. GTT Fiber has 3 packages with download speeds of 50, 100, and 150 megabits per second. That's fast enough to stream movies and music, to chat with Gran and Fran, to study, and more. What would you do? Upgrade to GTT Fiber today and don't get left behind tomorrow.
Guyana, get ready for the first concert in 2 years. Masharama 2022 with the Doctor, E-Man.
It's all about Romy and the big fat sister Naomi. Welcome the girls, them sugar. The girls, them ladies, sugar. I just still see I send them. If you're fed up with your boyfriend, this is good. for six. Call me.
Live at the National Stadium, Saturday, 26th February. All COVID protocols are in place. Wear your mask, walk with your vaccine cards and IDs.
Shop on Fizzuro today and get up to 35% off. We have thousands of new items in stock, from TVs to smartphones, from blenders to entire outfits. You can find practically anything on Fizzuro.com. With online payments and same-day delivery, it's convenience like never before. Fizzuro, Guyana's premier e-commerce marketplace.
People may forget the present you bought for them, but they'll never forget your scent. Find your signature fragrance at Elite Fragrances and Trade-In, located at 123 Region Road Border between Ornock Street and Shiv Chandapal Drive. Call 619-5151 or 227-1255. Get a designer fragrance for yourself or loved one that they will never forget.
It's here. Introducing the MyGPL Customer Portal, a convenient way to access all your account information in one location. To sign up, it's easy. Simply go to https://my.gplinc.com. After signing up, you will receive a confirmation email. Once logged in, view your postpaid account, monitor your consumption, view current charges and payment history, retrieve current and previous bills, and submit meter readings. MyGPL Customer Portal. Access to all your account information from your PC, tablet, or mobile phone at your convenience. Sign up today. For more information, contact our customer call center on 226-2600.
Mobil Dalvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobil Dalvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
The head of the Parliament's Library Department, Michael Munro, became the country's latest road accident victim last evening when he lost control of his car along the east bank of the Marara and slammed into a truck. A police report on the fatal accident said 52-year-old Michael Munro, who lives at Diamond in the east bank of the Marara, was driving at a fast rate along the Friendship Public Road when he lost control of his pickup and ended up in the path of a truck that was being driven in the opposite direction. The entire accident was captured by a nearby video surveillance system. Mr. Munro was pulled from the vehicle in an unconscious state with multiple injuries and rushed to the nearby Diamond Hospital, where he died while undergoing emergency treatment. The 21-year-old driver of the truck was questioned by the police and was administered a breathalyzer test, which found no trace of alcohol in his system. The probe continues. Staff members of the Parliament were thrown into shock and disbelief last evening when they received news of Michael Munro's passing. He worked for over a decade at the Parliament buildings and was married to the Permanent Secretary of the Office of the President, Abina Moore. Close friends and family members remembered him as an easygoing, fun-loving, and helpful person. Workers of Sol Guyana are getting big increases in their salaries following successful negotiations between the company and the General Workers Union. The company has also increased its minimum wage. Under the agreement for the year 2022, employees of Sol Guyana will receive a 24% increase in their salaries, retroactive to January of this year. For next year, the employees will get a 5% pay hike. Fresh negotiations will take place after 2023. Sol Guyana Incorporated has also set its minimum wage for 2022 to $130,000 per month, which is almost double the minimum wage in the public service and triple times the minimum wage in the private sector. From January of next year, the minimum wage at Sol Guyana will be further increased to $136,000 per month. The company has also agreed to increases in the meal allowances for the workers. The General Workers Union and the company are both pleased with the negotiations and the agreements. The Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union GAWU met with officials at Guyana today on the issue of the workers at the Enmore packaging facility who are likely to be displaced by the new company that will be taking over the complex to build machinery and parts for the oil and gas sector. According to GAWU, it was able to ensure that the rights of the more than 30 workers within its bargaining unit were respected. The union said Guyana has agreed to ensure that it fulfills its obligations as efforts are made to transition the workers to the new venture. GAWU said the workers were satisfied with its actions and believed that the presence of the union allowed them to feel reassured and know that they are protected. The union also said it was assured that employees linked to other aspects of the estate's operations will not be affected by the changes taking place. Guyana has already indicated that operations would continue as per normal during the transition phase. The union appeared blindsided last week when the government announced a major deal with a joint venture group to develop a parts and fittings company for the oil and gas sector and other sectors at the Enmore facility. GAWU immediately called for a meeting with the sugar company. Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben would like to see the business community playing a greater role in fire prevention and be properly covered by insurance. Speaking during an outreach by the Fire Advisory Board to the business community, the Home Affairs Minister indicated that while the Guyana Fire Service is often flagged for its shortcomings, when investigations are completed, the findings would point to businesses not having systems in place to be protected against fires.
Which I want to encourage persons to pay attention to, beyond taking care of the physical assets to prevent fire, but also pay attention to the question of signing on for fire insurance and for having the necessary inspections done, which the fire service is supposed to sign off on for the buildings, for the reticulation in the buildings in respect of fire and fire prevention.
Today's outreach, which was held at the Police Training Center, was done to sensitize the business community on the laws of the country with respect to fire prevention. With only a handful of business representatives in attendance, some persons engaged in conversations with the board about various aspects of the law regarding fire prevention and fire safety. Over the years, the Guyana Fire Service has faced a challenge in inspecting businesses and new business places. The Fire Service is mandated to carry out regular inspections on various premises to ensure that systems are in place to support fire prevention measures.
And also too, now that we're getting into larger buildings going up several stories, we have to pay attention to the question of fire prevention in those buildings. We have to think now, and we have to transition in large commercial buildings to fire sprinkler systems, dry and wet riser systems. We have to pay attention to the presence of extinguishers. We have to pay attention in all of the new buildings and in homes.
Acting Fire Chief Gregory Wickham noted that under the Fire Prevention Act, inspections are necessary along with sensitization. He said the business community needs to allow the fire service to do its work.
To members of the business community, we are ready. We want to help. Therefore, in very small ways, your advice to adhere to the fire prevention notices, recommendations issued from time to time by the Guyana Fire Service. Because at the end of it all, we would want to save life and property from the destruction by fire.
The Fire Advisory Board has been in operation for over a year. Its 9 members were all selected by the Minister of Home Affairs. The board is tasked with advising the fire service on some policy issues and various aspects related to the work of the fire service. Let's tell you now that the U.S. State Department's Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights and Labor recently conducted training programs for senior members of the Guyana Police Force, along with the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions and the local judiciary. The training was the second in a series of training initiatives for Guyana's criminal justice sector. The first one took place in January, and over 150 members of the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Prison Service participated in that initial program. The training focused on the Department of State Leahy law, which prohibits state assistance to foreign security forces if there is credible information that a security force unit has committed a gross violation of human rights, to include extrajudicial killings, torture, forced disappearance, or rape under the color of law. The training reviewed the consequences of committing gross human rights violations and the information and reporting standards required to demonstrate that the government of the country is taking effective steps to bring the responsible members of the security forces to justice before the resumption of assistance can be considered. The series of training on the state Leahy law is part of the U.S. government's commitment to supporting the professionalism of Guyana's criminal justice sector and promoting respect and protection of human rights, a release from the embassy said. Through the U.S. Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, the U.S. Embassy has facilitated the training of 889 police officers in various law enforcement areas, including major crimes, management, forensic, video analysis, narcotics investigation, and intelligence gathering.
Shop on Fazero today and get up to 35% off. We have thousands of new items in stock, from TVs to smartphones, from blenders to entire outfits. You can find practically anything on Fazero.com. With online payments and same-day delivery, it's convenience like never before. Fazero, Guyana's premier e-commerce marketplace.
Guyana, get ready for the first concert in 2 years. Masharama 2022 with the Doctor, B-Man.
It's all about Romy and the big fat sister Naomi. Welcome the girls, them sugar. The girls, them ladies, I just still see I send them. Don't if you're fed up with your boyfriend, you want a proper pick? Call me.
Live at the National Stadium, Saturday, 26 February. All COVID protocols are in place. Wear your mask, walk with your vaccine cards and IDs.
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has scolded his Vice President Hamilton Mourão for condemning the Russian invasion of Ukraine and said it was not his job to speak about the crisis in Eastern Europe. Bolsonaro, who recently met with President Vladimir Putin in Moscow and said the Russian leader had peaceful intentions, had not commented on the invasion on Thursday, only posting on Twitter that he was worried about protecting Brazilian citizens in Ukraine. The vice president condemned the invasion in comments to reporters, saying that in his view, economic sanctions may not be enough and the West may need to use force. His comments went well beyond a statement by Brazil's foreign ministry expressing concern about Russia's military operations and urging a diplomatic solution. Speaking later to his supporters by live webcast, the president said only he, the president, could speak about the Russia-Ukraine crisis and that it was not the vice president's business. In Jamaica, the Ganja Growers and Producers Association Jamaica has called for an immediate 2-year incentive program for marijuana cultivators, especially for small traditional Rastafarian and indigenous farmers, many of whom have been excluded from the Cannabis Licensing Authority regulated industry. It proposed an implementation window over the next 60 days. The president of the body made the call on Thursday for the intervention of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce as Ganja Growers celebrated the 7th anniversary of the approval of the Dangerous Drugs Amendment Act, which decriminalized the use of certain amounts of the plant as well as set new rules for the commercialization of medicinal marijuana in Jamaica. Crawford urged the Cannabis Task Force to take the association's recommendation to Portfolio Minister Auburn Hill and call for access to incentives or low-interest loans for agro or small business production of marijuana. And finally tonight, international news. A defiant Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged European countries to do more to help as he urged his citizens to resist Russian invasion. The second day of fighting saw tanks enter the capital of Kyiv for the first time. Ukrainian officials said they have handed out over 18,000 guns to volunteers, as well as issuing instructions on how to make petrol bombs. Russia is continuing its assault from the north, south, and east. In the evening, the capital of Kyiv came under fresh missile strikes, with explosions reported near a power plant and the sound of gunfire in the city. Loud explosions have been reported in the second largest city, also in the northeast of the country, with Ukrainians saying that they have stalled a Russian advance. A group of 13 soldiers on one island are being honored as heroes after they died refusing to surrender to a Russian warship. Russia says at least 137 people, civilians and soldiers, have been killed, while Russia has not admitted any deaths on its side. More than 100,000 people are estimated to have fled their homes, heading to family or fleeing for the border. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight and this week. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.